It's Friday, July 24th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. A spike at the pumps. Gasoline prices are up. Why it could be just the start. The Maritimes lose a prominent political voice with the passing of Elmer MacKay.
A mostly sunny and warm final weekend of July ahead for the Maritimes.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. Well, just in time for what is expected to be a beautiful weekend. The price of gasoline has soared at the pumps for your road trip. The expanding war in Iran is cited as a factor, and we're being warned it could go higher. CTV's Jesse Thomas has reaction.
Here in Nova Scotia, gas jumped 5.7 cents per liter, up to $1.92.6 overnight. A bit of a shock for people at the pump this morning.
I've got a filler, but it's expensive for sure.
And the prices jumped right across the Maritimes, where gas is some of the most expensive per liter in the country now. Like on PEI, where gas increased 5.8 cents a liter, the minimum price now $2.02.3. And in New Brunswick, gas increased by 6.3 cents, the maximum price now $1.93.5. It's enough to make some people rethink their summer travel plans.
I think it impacts lots of things. I think we'll probably stay a little closer to home, to be honest. Yeah.
Today's my first day for my staycation, and I am going to explore my province, but keep it closer to home because the price of gas is influencing how much I travel.
While some people are staying closer to home, what's driving up the cost of fuel is happening far away from this gas station in Halifax. Head petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan with GasBuddy.com says conflicts around the globe, like the U.S. and Iran war and the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict, is driving the price of crude oil up to its highest level in more than a month.
Because as Ukraine attacks Russian refineries, Europe needs to find alternative supply, and you are competing now at a much higher level with what supply is available, because what is in the Maritimes can easily be sent over to Europe.
Whether or not we can predict if gas prices will continue to climb or cool off is hard to predict. It's political in nature.
It's really a function of whether or not we'll continue to see escalations or whether or not we'll eventually see de-escalation.
As you heard, Todd, while it's hard to predict where gas prices will go, many drivers are trying not to go as far as a way to save on gas. I spoke with one man who said he needs to drive to get to and from work, and he shrugged at the cost and said it is what it is, raising his hands as if feeling it's all out of his control. Todd?
Yeah, you hear that a lot, don't you? Jesse, at the pumps, starting us off in Halifax tonight. Thank you. We're going to stay with energy for a moment. Could the Maritimes one day run under one giant electrical grid? The three premiers have agreed to explore what that idea would look like, something energy advocates have been long lobbying for. CTV's Avery MacKay explains.
Improved affordability, optimized planning and investments, and a stronger, more resilient system. That's what maritime provinces are hoping comes from a more regional approach to power needs.
Each of us has utilities and systems that plan the demand from our customers, our ability to generate, but we do that in isolation. So now we're going to look at all of the generation assets in the Maritimes together.
That includes everything from current power generation to potential future assets. As it stands today, each province operates on its own distinct power line, but the provinces say they will explore a system that would serve the entire region. NB Power says they support the exploration of a regional approach and plan to contribute their expertise as needed.
It's probably one of the most consequential announcements in the last decade for energy and electricity.
Atlantica Center for Energy President Michelle Robichaud has long advocated for the benefits of a regional energy approach. She says if the provinces determine a regional grid is the best method, residents won't notice a difference.
But what they will notice is that their energy bills might not go up, or the reliability aspect, so that we don't have to issue announcements that say we're preparing for a blackout or a brownout during winter season.
The three provinces have committed to providing an update on their power plans this fall. Todd, we should also point out, Premier Susan Holt was asked this morning about the possibility of cutting power off to Maine as a leverage tactic in the ongoing trade war with Washington. As of 2024, the province provided 44% of the state's power. The premier didn't answer one way or the other, but said it would be a very serious thing to do, given the long-standing relationship between the people of Maine and New Brunswick. Todd?
That's something we'll talk about in Friday Politics later. Thank you, Avery in St. John. The MacKay name holds a prominent place in Canadian politics and the Conservative Party. For decades, Elmer MacKay and son Peter held the riding of Central Nova. It began with Elmer's election in the early 70s. He has passed away just shy of turning 90. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness looks at a life of public service.
Longtime PC Member of Parliament Elmer MacKay has died. His son Peter announced his father's passing this morning on social media. His was an extraordinary life, collecting legions of friends, leaving a legacy of hard work and public service. He loved the forest, poetry, sport, law, and good debate, the Yankees, and especially his family. Deeply missed and alive in our hearts. MacKay was first elected in a by-election in 1971. He served as the Member of Parliament until 1983. That's when he resigned his seat so new federal leader Brian Mulroney could run for Parliament.
If Brian wants me to do something to help him, or if the party does, really there hasn't been any deal. Bob Stanfield didn't offer me anything to get into politics, and Brian Mulroney hasn't offered me anything to get out.
MacKay didn't stay away from politics long. He was re-elected in Central Nova in September 1984 after Mulroney decided to run in Quebec. He served in cabinet with Public Works, the Atlantic Canada Opportunity Agency, National Revenue and Regional Economic Expansion, as well as Solicitor General of Canada from 1984 to 1985. He also pushed hard for the construction of the Confederation Bridge. MacKay eventually retired in 1993. In a statement, Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston recalled that Elmer kept his name and number in the phone book so you could always get a hold of him. Over the years, our MLA offices would often hear from Elmer if he was talking to a person he thought we might be able to help. He was a great person who was always eager to help people. Federal Party leader Pierre Poilievre also offered his condolences. The people loved Elmer, and he loved them. In Nova Scotia, I still hear stories of Elmer showing up at the homes of the less fortunate right before Christmas with a bundle of gifts and a fresh turkey for supper, never publicizing his generosity. Peter MacKay ended his post today by saying, "Sleep well, Pop. You earned your rest." Elmer MacKay was 89 years old. Jonathan McGuinness, CTV News, Halifax.
There's a live look right now at Bedeck in Cape Breton. A glorious evening, 22 degrees. As we turn our attention to the weather forecast, it is the weekend, of course. Many of you have started that already. Not Kayla Mitchell, who's hard at work in the CTV Weather Center with some good-looking numbers behind you.
Hard at work tracking what's left of that little bit of cloud cover we just saw there in Bedeck. It's not much. It's some thin, high cloud cover. It's on the backside of the weather front that's now off towards the east of us. I thought we could check in, though, on some evening conditions in case people are heading out for evening or night plans. Like Todd said, for a good portion of the region, it's a lovely evening across the Maritimes. A lot of temperatures away from the water are around the mid to high 20s. Coastal areas right now around low to mid 20s, so temperatures a little bit more moderate if you're heading out for a stroll along the Halifax waterfront or the waterfront in St. John. Checking in on the winds, not much to them. They're mostly out of the south. They're being sustained in a lot of cases between about 10 and 20 kilometers per hour. Wind gusts basically a non-issue for us this evening in the Maritimes. On satellite, there's what's left of that cloud cover that we just saw hanging around parts of Cape Breton, including Bedeck, but that continues to clear off towards the east as we go through this evening. And then the rest of the night after that is expected to be mostly clear for all three maritime provinces. That, of course, makes it an ideal night for some night sky viewing. Here's a couple things you can see in the night sky. It's a waxing gibbous moon, 80% illuminated. You will see that above the southern horizon this evening. If you look off towards the western horizon this evening, you should be able to spot the planet Venus as it will be setting. If you spot a shooting star out there for tonight, that is probably part of the Delta Aquarid meteor shower that is ongoing now and will be peaking at the end of this month. I wouldn't really make it a point of trying to catch this pass from the International Space Station this evening. It's very short, 3 minutes long. It happens at 10:51 p.m. and it's going to be very low in the sky. So that's not one of the better ones to try and view. Of course, I will be back a little bit later on, Todd, with the details of a sunny and warm final weekend of July.
All right, all that best enjoyed on someone's boat.
Oh, yeah.
Make friends with somebody who has a boat. All right, we'll see you in about 15 minutes, Kalen. Thank you for that. More seniors are speaking out about their experiences at a government-owned seniors building in Halifax after our reporting last night. CTV's MacKay has learned the province is responding.
Brian Jollymore moved into this government-owned seniors building 18 months ago. He didn't anticipate the problems he's seeing now when he originally signed his lease.
Because of the homeless people that were let in, like they weren't, if they were properly vetted and if they were all right, and if they weren't the drug addicts and the prostitutes.
Aside from the location and subsidized rent, his main reason for seeking out this housing was because it's designated for seniors.
There's all kinds of housing they can put these people in, but they just don't. A seniors building should be just for seniors only.
The Nova Scotia Housing Agency confirms this is a seniors building and only seniors are permitted to live here. Those requirements 58 or older and on a low income.
About 70% of our units in Halifax are occupied by seniors right now. The rest are families. So we don't have a lot of inventory for single individuals under the age of 58. So we may look at that as a change or something that we look at in the future, but right now our seniors buildings are seniors buildings.
The past chair for the Canadian Association of Retired Persons in Nova Scotia says he's also heard concerns around safety in similar buildings.
If they're going to be in these places, that they're well controlled, and more ideally that the seniors be able to be on their own. That means that the management needs to have more communication with the seniors. They need to have more visible security.
The province's housing agency says it ensures tenants' security is in place at these buildings. They say these recent concerns from tenants here have not been brought forward to them, but to hear them now is concerning.
We're the landlord, and we want to work with police and be partners in dealing with any particular issues that may be contributing to a safety concern for any of our tenants in the building. But as far as we know, that's not something that's been brought forward to our folks.
The housing agency has scheduled 2 tenant engagement meetings next week at both the Sir John Thompson Manor as well as the Joseph Howe Manor. Tenants will be notified. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
A rare and expensive guitar was stolen from a music store in Moncton yesterday. Take a look at this. The windows were smashed with a rock at Long and MacKay early Thursday morning. Just one of hundreds of instruments was stolen. This one, a one-of-a-kind custom Gibson Les Paul model, valued over $14,000. It was snatched by the intruder. The store manager insists it's pretty much useless to whomever stole it because of how unique and recognizable it is.
It's a one-off. It's the only one in the world. It's going to be pretty much useless to anybody who has it. So we just want it back. Give it back. You know, it's not going to do anybody any good. Even if somebody paid $3,000 for it, they're going to be playing in their pajamas in the basement for the rest of their life, and nobody can see it.
Staff are hoping anyone who may have information will report it to police or contact the store directly. The RCMP is investigating the theft. A couple charged in connection to a newborn's death in Halifax has had their court case pushed back as lawyers review evidence from the Crown. Sukhpreet Singh and his wife, Ramandeep Kaur, are charged with indignity to human remains, intending to conceal the remains, lying to a police officer, and obstruction of justice. They appeared in court virtually today. The case was pushed back to mid-September. Halifax police said a woman who had just given birth showed up at a hospital with life-threatening conditions in May, but there was no baby with her. A search uncovered the newborn's remains in the woods a day later near Hatchet Lake outside Halifax. The mother died in hospital a few days after that. Online, a New Brunswick man has been charged with second-degree murder after a woman was found dead inside a home, and we have the details at our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. The 2 candidates vying to be leader of New Brunswick's Progressive Conservative Party admit there's plenty of work to do to repair party unity following its last electoral defeat. The 2 candidates, Danielle Lan and Don Monahan, met in St. John last night for the second and last scheduled debate in the leadership race. Party unity was one question posed last night. Both candidates say there is room for improvement.
Right now, I'd still say it's divided, and that has to change once the new leader is chosen. So I know there's a lot of back and forth on people who determine that one side leads versus the other side leads. And again, it's been something that's been going on prior to my arrival.
There's only two candidates, so we have some challenges, but I'm positive that the PC party members will be up to the task to re-energize our party, to make sure we rebuild it also.
Alain is the former PC Minister of Local Government under Blaine Higgs, who was booted from cabinet after voting against changes to Policy 713. He didn't reoffer as an MLA in 2024. Monahan was elected as a Progressive Conservative MLA in 2024 and is now the official opposition's finance critic. The PC leadership vote will be held on October 17th.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A clinical study underway in Moncton is investigating the potential of breath analysis for the early detection of breast cancer. CTV's Derek Haggett has the details.
The head of a Moncton-based medical company says exciting, cutting-edge technology is being done right here in the province. Breathe Biomedical is partnering with the Vitalite Health Network on a study using breath analysis as a non-invasive tool to detect breast cancer in women with dense breast tissue.
We analyze it on our very sophisticated spectral device, which creates a data set from the breath, and then we use machine learning to synthesize that data and identify the patterns in the breath that are associated with disease.
Cancer can be harder to detect in women with dense breast tissue, something half of all women at risk of the disease have. The study will investigate whether breath analysis could serve as a complementary tool to traditional screening methods.
Mammogram sees the underlying tissue as gray. It also sees the cancerous lesions as gray. And so what clinicians say is trying to find cancer in a woman with dense breast tissue is like trying to pick a particular cloud out of a cloud-filled sky.
A recent preliminary study conducted in St. John distinguished women with early-stage breast cancer from those without, with an accuracy rate of over 88%.
88% accuracy is great. And also what is great about this is what they found in the study in St. John is that the breast test is not impacted by the breast density.
Around 800 women, many from New Brunswick, will participate in the study, which got underway in Moncton this week. Other hospitals in the province and across Canada will be invited to participate, and well-known American institutions such as the Mayo Clinic are also involved. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Time for a break on this Friday night. Still to come, mostly clear conditions for the Maritimes tonight. Caleb will have the details. And it's up and away for one Maritime airport.
This year we are projecting to be our record year, so the most number of travelers coming through the airport ever.
After some turbulent years, business is soaring at Halifax Stanfield. Details after this.
This is the Campfire Conditions Report brought to you by Pine Acres RV, where customers become friends. And heading into the final weekend of July, campfires are currently permitted in the province of New Brunswick. In Nova Scotia, campfires are allowed between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 a.m. And campfires are currently allowed for Prince Edward Island, with domestic brush burning between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 a.m. Remember to keep fires small and under control and never leave a campfire unattended.
Regardless of the weather, it's been all blue skies at the region's largest airport of late. That's because Halifax Stanfield International is hitting new highs in passenger traffic and flights. CTV's Callum Smith has more on what that could bring.
This year we are projecting to be our record year, so the most number of travelers coming through the airport ever.
The last time Halifax's airport was close to this year's projection of 4.4 million passengers was in 2018. The boom is driven by a spike in international travel, coming off the airport's strongest ever second quarter with a 12% boost to passengers over last year.
In the month of June, we actually saw increases in all three sectors, so domestically across Canada, as well as U.S. travel and in international. But really that driving factor for the year has been a significant increase in capacity for international traffic.
Spokesperson Tiffany Chase says the East Coast location is a prime stop to shorten transatlantic flights.
Essentially, you could look at a map of Europe and we probably have a nonstop route to that location.
And that service
really has made us the most internationally connected airport in North America of our size.
On the domestic side, she points to direct flights to Regina and Saskatoon added last year and more options over the summer.
We're working with the airlines to identify if we can start to stretch the season for those to make more opportunity and more choice for travelers if they're looking to travel on a year-round basis and not just in the summer.
While flying can be costly,
I probably flew here as cheap as it would be to fill up with gas.
But price isn't the only thing on the minds of passengers. Some are simply thankful to dodge any potential labor disruption, as WestJet flight attendants could walk off the job August 2nd.
It's really unnerving when you book your flights and you're unsure if you're going to get to travel as you planned. Because some people, they schedule their vacation and they cannot reschedule.
For others, there was less stress and more relaxation.
It was an excellent trip. I would just recommend guys to come to Nova Scotia. Your place is beautiful. It's the first time I've come to Nova Scotia.
At this point, Tiffany Chase says it's too soon to talk about next year and whether that could be another banner year for the airport, but she does say the Halifax Stanfield International Airport is expecting continued growth moving forward. Todd.
All right, that should make everyone who flies happy. Thank you, Callum, at the airport this evening. Still to come, a sunny July weekend to look forward to. Doesn't that sound great? Caleb Mitchell will return with his forecast, and he's telling everyone to find a beach like Crescent Beach on the South Shore of Nova Scotia and just hang out all weekend. Here's how the afternoon was looking in Montague PEI. Some great patios to hang out on in Montague.
Beautiful spot. Beautiful day for it. More like it in the weekend forecast.
PEI is gorgeous. Yeah, I said get thee to a beach, but that's not a bad spot either, is it?
Absolutely. I mean, lots of beautiful places to hang out this weekend in the Maritimes, as we are going to be beneath an area of high pressure. It's expected to give us some sunny conditions, warmer temperatures, especially away from the coast, so humidity levels expected to remain at a comfortable level. Let's take a quick look at weather conditions across the country. There's a couple things I wanted to touch on happening nationally. First of all, interior areas of the south of BC and southern areas of Alberta contending with some wildfire smoke that has triggered some air quality alerts. That's from wildfires both in BC as well as some in Washington state. And there's some heat warnings out for some of the southern areas of both Saskatchewan and Manitoba. You can see temperatures there a little bit hotter right now. Regina sitting at 27, Winnipeg at 28 degrees. A little ridge in the jet stream is going to allow those temperatures to come up over the next couple of days. Now moving into northern Ontario, there's actually a tornado watch out for a good portion of northern Ontario. Definitely the potential for some severe thunderstorms for their afternoon and into evening hours. It's very warm right now around the nation's capital. Ottawa sitting at 27, Montreal at 27 as well. Fredericton, though, a little bit higher than that, sitting at 28 at this hour. Halifax and Charlottetown both at 23, and so is St. John's. Taking a look at our timeline for cloud cover and precipitation, this one's easy. It's left of the little bit of cloud cover from the weather front that's off towards the east of us, continues to clear out of Cape Breton as we make our way through this evening. The rest of the night, mostly clear for the Maritimes, so there may be some patchy coastal fog that develops around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick, including potentially around St. John Harbour, as well as locations near Campobello and Grand Manan. Also some patchy fog may develop around southwestern areas of Nova Scotia, coastal areas again. Now, if there is any fog around, it'll be dissipating or retreating off the coast in the morning hours, and Saturday afternoon will be mostly sunny across the Maritime region, and then fairly clear conditions expected for Saturday evening and Saturday night. And then on Sunday, we basically do it all over again. Lots of sunshine in Sunday's forecast, though throughout the day there may be some cloud cover that begins to increase increase off the Atlantic around eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Taking a look at winds in the forecast for tonight and for tomorrow, the winds are going to be on the lighter side, mostly out of the south and sustained between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour. Low temperatures tonight around the Maritimes in a lot of cases will be in the high single digits and low teens. A little bit milder for Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown, Summerside, lows tonight of around 15 degrees, and Shetty Camp and Cape Breton around 16. Here's a look at the highs in the forecast for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick. Those high temperatures up between 25 and 29 degrees and mostly high 20s in through central and southern parts of the province. A little bit more moderate around the Bay of Fundy coastline, so 24 for Graham and Ann for tomorrow, 26 for St. John. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow, high temperatures 25 to 29 degrees and sunny with that light south wind. In Cape Breton, most of the high temperatures will be mid to high 20s as well, except near the Atlantic coastline where they'll be in the range of around 23 to 25 degrees. High 20s for the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia for tomorrow. On the eastern shore, again on the coastline, 23 to 25. 27 for Amherst, 28 for Truro. The city centers, Halifax and Dartmouth for tomorrow with high temperatures near 25. In the Annapolis Valley, though, Kentville, Wolfville, Middleton, high temperatures closer to 28. 24 for Digby and Liverpool and Shelburne for tomorrow, and then 23 degrees for Yarmouth. I talked about humidity. It does remain at a comfortable level through this upcoming weekend. It may rise a little bit through the start of next week. Speaking of the start of next week, for New Brunswick on Monday, it's a mix of sun and clouds, still very warm. Same thing goes for Tuesday. That'll be followed by a chance of showers on Wednesday of next week, but rain or showers looking more likely for Thursday, and after that, Friday, a mix of sun and cloud. For Nova Scotia and the outlook at the start of next week, on Monday, low chance of showers, about a 40% chance, and their coverage will be pretty spotty. Then a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday, a chance of showers on Wednesday, but then rain possible on Thursday of next week, followed by a mix of sun and cloud on Friday. And for Prince Edward Island to start off next week, it's a mix of sun and cloud on Monday, highs near 24, up to 26 on Tuesday with a mix of sun and cloud. Chance of showers after that on Wednesday with rain possible on Thursday, and then Friday, a mix of sun and cloud. Todd.
A lot of concerts going on, I know, this weekend. A couple of big ones in Riverview, New Brunswick, where Big Sugar plays tonight. Sloan tomorrow night outside. So great for all these festivals and that going on.
Yeah, they definitely picked a good time this year. Yeah, weather just cooperating.
Okay, let me ruin everything. 5 months from today is Christmas Eve.
Yeah, yep, that would about do it. I guess I got to think about my shopping.
There you go. There you go. You got time. We'll see you at the end of the show. Next, it's Friday Politics. Stay with us. Time now for Friday Politics. Joining us is Don Deserud, political scientist at the University of Prince Edward Island. He joins us from North River. That's near Charlottetown, of course. Don, good to see you. The premiers have had their seafood feast, their round of golf. They've headed off, and the gentle island can be that once again. But do you think they managed to get any work done while they were here?
I think so. You know, these conferences are really tricky from the public standpoint because there's an expectation that this is a very high-powered group, that they're going to make crucial decisions, and then we're going to see change in policy or influencing the federal government. It's not really that kind of a forum. I mean, they don't actually vote, for example. It's a consensus forum, and it's easy to be cynical and say that this is really just about them getting together on a social basis, but that's actually really important. It's important because of the relationships that they develop amongst themselves, so that when they're in a difficulty where they need support from another premier, they can just call and they know each other. They know each other well. So it is a social event. You know, sometimes people call it the summer camp for premiers. It is kind of like that. There's a lot of social activities, but there's a lot of discussion that goes on, and you know, you see the sort of the stuff, the low-hanging fruit that comes out at the end of the conference. Though you know, this whole idea of the regional energy program is a really interesting one. That's one I'm going to follow carefully.
This is this memorandum of understanding that was signed between the three maritime premiers.
Yeah, it's only a memorandum of understanding, so it just means they're going to talk more about it. But that could be absolutely crucial. This is a big deal for all three provinces, and be able to combine power sources in a seamless way, particularly for Prince Edward Island, which is so dependent upon getting its power from the mainland. This could be a game changer if it actually goes forward in something tangible.
Well, talk a bit about that. What do you think they're talking about improving the grid? We know New Brunswick has concerns about being able to meet the need in that province. Of course, as you mentioned, Prince Edward Island needs that second line run from the mainland to the island to be able to sustain the needs of islanders. But what exactly is it that they need or want to do?
Yeah, well, this is where you need your energy expert to really get into the
sure, fair enough
deal of this. But basically, the idea is that we have three provincial power organizations, power companies that have different capacities and have different needs at different times. And there's certain infrastructure needs that some are able to fulfill and others are not. And the theory being, this goes back to the whole idea of maritime cooperation in general, that if they work together, there'd be more capacity to improve the entire system where they would all benefit. I hope that's true. It does seem to make sense that better than not cooperating together. But if they're able to do that, I mean, obviously having reliable power, having an updated infrastructure system, being able to deliver that power without having to worry too much about problems of capacity, but also degrading infrastructure. It helps industry, helps the economy in general. So this could be something to see how far they're able to take it.
Okay, we'll certainly watch that closely. Back to the Premier's conference, many, Doug Ford in particular perhaps, want tariffs or exit taxes imposed on energy to the U.S. Talk about maybe the kind of problems that could present the Prime Minister. It could be red meat for Alberta separatists if you say you're going to put a tax on oil and gas to the States. And concessions on dairy supply management could fuel Quebec separatism. We've already heard the Premier of that province say that's a non-starter. So what kind of line does the Prime Minister have to walk on this?
Yeah, this is an incredibly difficult and dangerous, I'd call it a tightrope, because in one false move and things could fall apart. It's very useful that the person who's taking on the role is Doug Ford. He's a good ally for the Prime Minister. I don't think anyone saw that coming a few years back. But you can hear from Doug Ford, the frustration that he has, and say, wait a second, why I'm the one that's carrying all of this? This is part of the problem, and I wish I had the solution. But the problem is that when we say that Canada should do something to deal with the United States and the tariffs, what exactly do we mean? Which province is going to get hurt? Which province is not even going to be affected by it? So those provinces they're actually carrying the load are the ones that are going to say, well, wait a second, why are we the ones that have to suffer for this? So there has to be some way to compensate. There has to be some way so that all the provinces can work together, so that no two provinces or three provinces are feeling that they're the ones that are carrying this load all by themselves.
It was interesting. The premiers left yesterday vowing that they're united as a group. They said they're all on the same page. We heard that last year at the end of the conference, and within days, the fissures started to appear, cracks in that one unified voice when the premiers got back to their home provinces and started to answer tough questions. Haven't heard that yet. It's only been a day. Do you expect that we might start to?
Yeah, and this has always been the case. If you think of the really big conferences on the Constitution, that happened more times than not, where the premiers come up with some sort of a deal. This is how we're going to patriate the Constitution. Then once they got back to the home provinces, it fell apart. So it doesn't surprise me that this could happen. Again, it's part of the way in which this works. When they're together, they can afford to be friendly, and I'm sure they're sincere. But when they get home, that's when the rubber hits the road, and they realize that there's another battle they have to fight. But it's what they say, how they say it, with what sort of determination they say it. If the message is that the premiers are united, that's a powerful message that is being sent not only to their home provinces but to the federal government and frankly to in some cases to the United States.
Yeah. Political scientist Don Desroute at UPEI. Thank you for your insight as always. Good speaking with you, and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
We'll take a break. We're back in 2 minutes. In health headlines this Friday, we look at why Canadians traveling to the U.S. are being warned to take precautions with food. CTV's Amanda Debison has the details in tonight's Lifeline.
The federal government is urging anyone traveling to the U.S. to be extra cautious about the cyclospora outbreak. Thousands of suspected cases of stomach illness have been linked to contaminated lettuce. In response, Ottawa has raised its travel advisory for the U.S. Travelers are being urged to thoroughly wash fruits and vegetables, even if they're labeled as pre-washed. Canada has no confirmed cases. A next-generation obesity drug could be on its way from Eli Lilly. According to the company, the drug, retatrutide, appears to be more effective than existing shots and pills. Retatrutide works differently and is delivered via a weekly injection. In trials, it resulted in significant weight loss and improvements in blood sugar levels. Eli Lilly had previously said it would seek approval from the FDA for the new drug this year. Finally, this was the moment a man who lives with paralysis regained his sense of touch. Keith from New York lost the use of his limbs in a diving accident. He had a procedure called a double neural bypass. His brain was connected to a computer to send and receive signals. Doctors say Keith still has some movement and touch, even after the computer was turned off. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for the Lifeline.
On the scene tonight, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's the granddaddy of all comic book conventions. Comic-Con San Diego is underway, and our guide to the superheroes, monsters, and celebrities is NBC's Joe Little.
They come marching every July.
The people.
A parade to chaos.
This is the Mecca.
A temple dedicated to comics, pop culture, and art.
It's like a big costume party.
Fans. That's all it is. It's fans.
Fans of Star Trek, Spider-Man, and Soundwave. Houseplants, Flash Gordon, and Kobe-Wan.
Where's my Sam?
Thousands join in the fun. It's almost hard to describe this to people who have not experienced it in person.
A pop culture free-for-all.
Amazing. It's a family friendly.
The cosplay, the friendliness, the community, the family. It's a great environment.
The entertainment of everything you could ever imagine. Anything, comics, video games. The whole culture is here.
Tony Washington first came here as a fan. He's now displaying his work as an award-winning artist.
It's amazing. It's always amazing to be here.
Colleen Rodriguez is a San Diego-based costume and jewelry designer.
It's just great seeing people come through and be excited about everything.
There are pinball games, video games, and card games. Doomsday, art, and walking.
Absolutely incredible.
Incredible and inspirational for steampunk Jedi, Pac-Man, and Waldo.
Found them.
There's Rogue Troopers, Fort Psycho, and Catholic Schoolgirls versus Inbreeds.
Oh, wow.
There's Hall H, where people will wait hours for a glimpse at a superstar or the next blockbuster sneak peek.
Help yourself to anything.
There's Free Stuff, Yellow Bears, and Red Devils, Pink Troopers, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. But at the beginning of this story and in the end,
Comic books are still a thing.
I bought Stitch.
The heart of it all is still
comic books.
The inspiration for so much at Comic-Con, and it keeps people coming back for more every year.
Relive my childhood when I'm walking down these aisles.
And that was just day one. There's still 3 more days of Comic-Con. In San Diego, Joe Little, NBC News.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll wrap things up after this.
With Aaron and Peter.
Hey, you can win $1,000 in under 60 seconds every weekday at 7.
That's when we play $1,000 Minute. Your chance to win $1,000 with us.
On the markets, the Dow Jones wrapped the trading week up 235 points. CN Rail reported financial results with revenue up 11% in its latest quarter. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez with more.
Revenue for the second quarter was $4.75 billion, and that beat expectations. American tariffs and tariff threats have been an overhang for Canadian National. Still, Canada's largest rail reported higher revenue on grain and fertilizer shipping, as well as petroleum and chemicals. Controlling costs has also helped CN. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down to $70.92 US. West Texas Intermediate down over $3 to $89.34 US a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to $71.94. And the TSX gained 176 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Kaylin, take a bow.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here right now. Todd, I can smell the barbecues. Literally, I'm smelling a barbecue right now because the evening crew has one on the go. I'm thinking about hanging out for a little while and seeing what's on the go for dinner. Let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight, and it's a beautiful shot. It's coming in from Mildred McGee. It's of the St. John River, taken from the Bill Thorpe Walking Bridge from Fredericton for today, where it was a very lovely day and continues to be a very pleasant evening. Want to thank Mildred for that. Fredericton in the forecast for tomorrow, it's sunshine and it's pretty hot. High temperature near 29 degrees, but a pretty comfortable level of humidity to go along with that. Day planner for tomorrow across the Maritime region. Few areas to maybe watch for a little bit of fog first thing in the morning, and that's mostly around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and parts of the southwestern Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. Morning temperatures around the region mostly in the low to mid-teens, and then after that, as we move from the morning into the afternoon, any fog patches that were around will be dissipating, clearing away, and it'll be sunny as that area of high pressure remains in place. Light southerly wind for tomorrow. Most of the high temperatures will be around the mid to high 20s. A little bit more moderate for a few coastal areas, including around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia, where the high temperatures will top out around the low to mid 20s. And then with that area of high pressure in place, weather conditions for the end of the weekend on Sunday are basically going to be a repeat for the region, though we might see a little bit of cloud cover increase to parts of Nova Scotia during the day. Todd.
All right. You have a great weekend. Thanks for that, Kaylin. Finally for us tonight, part of Midtown Manhattan looks like a big playground. Herald Square in Midtown is filled with kids and adults who feel like kids. It's called Impulse, and it's an art exhibit featuring 8 giant seesaws that transform into a colorful light show as people ride them. It took a team of 5 to put it together after they were loaded in from Montreal. Now they also create musical tones that respond to rhythm as you ride. Certainly a big step from what I remember at the Tot Lot when I was a kid. That is our look at the week here on the East Coast. CTV News Atlantic.ca has our reporting over the weekend. I'm Todd Battis. We're going to leave you with scenes of summer in the city and the names of everyone who makes this newscast each night. Bruce is here at 11:30. I hope to see you Monday at 6. Good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.